Today I'm going to walk you through your first production run here at Digit, from creating a bill of materials to completing a manufacturing order. In this video, I'll show you how to set up a BOM, add routing steps to your operations, create a manufacturing order, pick materials, start running complete work orders. The first thing we want to do is head on over the items page on the left side panel under operations. And in here, we're going to look for the item that we want to produce. For today's example, we're a small chocolate company that's going to be making lavender chocolate bars. We find those here and we click on them. After that, we head on over to the Productions tab. Here in the Production tab, you'll be able to find relevant information to your production of this item, such as the bill of materials, the routings tab, and the Production History tab. To create a BOM, we're going to click on Create New BOM Version. Once we click on that, we can see that BOM version 1 has been added. And to add items to it, we click on Edit BOM. Then we click on Add Items to BOM. And we're going to be looking for the items that we need to produce. The chocolate bars, in this instance, it's going to be the chocolate base, medium roast. We're going to need a chocolate wrapper. And we're going to need a chocolate label. Once we have those selected, we can add them to the BOM. Then we need to introduce the quantity we're going to need in order to produce one piece. And we click on Save. Now that our bill of materials has been successfully set up, we can go ahead and add routing steps to our operations. To do this, we go to the Routings tab here on the right. We click on Edit Routing, and we're going to select Routing Operations. And you're going to be taken to a window with all the available operations on your enterprise. You can create a new operation from within this window, give it a name, assign a work center to it, assign equipment and tools, add configurations, set the status as active or archived, set default operators for the people who are going to be in charge of the operation, set up default setup time, and set up default runtime. For the operations to make the chocolate bar, we're going to need to temper it, we're going to need to cool it, we're going to need to mold it, and we're going to need to liquefy it. We're not going to be roasting anything, so I'll be deselecting that one. Now we're going to add the operations. And the operations have been added, but they have not been added in order. But don't worry, we can fix that. Liquefy should be the first one. Then we need to temper the chocolate. Then we need to move it to a mold. Then we need to let it cool down. But wait a minute, we're missing one operation because we need to wrap the bars. So we select Wrap. We add the operation, and our operations are set up. So we click on Save. And now our routings operations have been set. Now that Digit knows the steps needed for the operations to run, we can head on over the manufacturing orders page to create our first MO and to run our first production run at Digit. To do this, we navigate on the left side panel and we click on manufacturing orders. Then we click on Create MO here in the top right corner. And we'll look for the item that we'll be producing. For this example, we'll be producing a lavender chocolate bar. So we select the item. And then we add the item. Now that the item has been added, we input the target quantity we're going to be making. For today's example, we'll be making 25 pieces of chocolate or 25 chocolate bars. So we click on Save. Once we have clicked on Save, we can see that the manufacturing order has been successfully created. To get things up and running, we need to pick the raw materials that we're going to need in order to produce this item. To do this, we can see that we have the materials table over here, and we can click on Pick. And it'll show you the quantity that you need to pick and the available inventory for this item. We can see that we have enough inventory. And we input the quantity that we need to pick. And we click on Pick. Now we can see that 1.25 kilograms of 1.25 kilograms have been successfully picked. And we do the same for the next items. We click on pick. We input the quantity that we need. And do the same for the last item. Now that we have picked our raw material, we're ready to start working on our work orders. After picking all the raw material that we need in order to produce our chocolate bars, we can start our operations. Under work orders, we can see the first operation is Liquefy. So we click on the work order and we click on start job. Now, because we're melting everything together, we're going to say that we are going to liquefy 25 pieces. And we make the batch. And now we can see that the quantity for this work order has been completed. So we can stop the job and we can complete the work order. Now we can move on to the next step of our operations. That is tempering the chocolate. So we click on the work order. And because this is as well as a heating process, we can temper the 25 pieces at the same time. We make a batch. Don't forget to start your job. Then once the job has been completed, you can complete the work order and move on to the next step of your operation. Now we need to mold the hot chocolate into the molds, and we start the job. And let's say that we first mold 10 pieces. So we make that batch while the other 15 pieces are getting molded. You can head on over to the cool operation to let the first 10 pieces that we just made cool. So that you can simultaneously be running multiple operations at the same time. And we're going to finish molding our pieces so that we can let them all cool. We make the last batch and we can see that the quantity is completed. We stop the job and we complete our work order. Now we can head on back to the cooling process and we can add the last 15 pieces and we make the batch. Quantity has been completed. We can stop the job and complete our work order. Now we're just missing the finishing step of our operation. That is wrapping the chocolate bars. And let's say we first wrapped 10 pieces. We then wrapped another 10. And we wrapped the last 5. Now we can see that the quantity has been completed. We stop the job and we complete the work order. Now that the work order has been completed, we can head back over to the manufacturing order. And we can see that the manufacturing order has been completed as well, as all the operations and work orders have been successfully completed. Finally, you'll want to check the inventory that you just produced. There are 2 ways that you can go about this. The first one is to navigate to the inventories page on the left side panel. Go to your beans and look for the item that you just produced. In this instance, the chocolate bars are being saved on our main warehouse. And we can see that in stock we have 50 pieces. For a more detailed record of the production history, we can navigate into the items page, go into the productions tab, and we can find the relevant information. We have produced 75 pieces. We were expecting 50 pieces from production, and we can also find the average cost. Here on production history, you can see that from our most recent manufacturing order, our target quantity was 25 chocolate bars and our output quantity was that of 25 chocolate bars. And that is how you can check your inventory.